age-old question of whether or not you should do cardio before weight training is one that I hear all the time. On today's podcast, we talked about whether or not it's a good idea for you to do cardio or weightlifting first. Spoiler alert, it kind of depends on the goal. I really hope you enjoyed this discussion and you get something out of it. If you want to check out the full podcast and all the previous podcasts we've done before, they are linked on the homepage of my YouTube channel. Have a great day, everybody.
Okay, this is again from Reddit. They've been coming up with some bangers lately.
Woo.
So this question is, how long should you do cardio before lifting weights? I find if I go past 20 minutes on an elliptical, I'm more exhausted when doing my workout routine and have less energy. Okay.
I think I have heard that depending on your goals, you might want to do cardio either before or after. Is there something to that? Am I making that up?
This is a great point.
You are the coach. Please,
You said took the words right out of my mouth.
please elaborate on what I've said.
The main thing that we always have to do when we are setting up a exercise protocol is first ask ourselves, what is my goal? So if your goal is to build muscle and gain strength, you would be better served doing cardio on another day or after the
the end.
resistance training.
Okay. And why is that? Is that just so you can really give it your all?
Yes.
For
So
the resistance? So
first
you're
and
fresh?
foremost, the basic knowledge. It's the same principle of like doing your heavy compound squat before you do leg extensions. You want to be fresh. You want to be
do the hard stuff first.
do the hard stuff first. Exactly. That's a layperson's way of saying it. Exactly.
I have given that advice to patients, actually.
It's great
They'll-
advice.
They'll complain to me, the speech therapist, that physical therapist gave me this exercise and I really can't do it. But these other ones I'm doing, but I really can't do that one. It's like, well, do that one first.
Yes.
Because it's hard to like do it when you're fresh.
Eat the frog.
Like do your leg kicks first and then do your toe taps.
Yeah.
That's the context in which I have given that advice.
But it's
to
the
people.
same. It's the same type of thing. You
It
want
makes
to do
sense.
Now, this is a lot of people hear that and take this way too far and say, "Oh, if I do leg extensions first, then my squat work is going to be toast and I'm not going to gain any adaptations."
No.
Not true. Not true. And a lot of bodybuilders whose goal is muscular size rather than strength will do something called a pre-exhausting set where they will go to the leg extension, pre-exhaust their quads, not have to use as much weight on their back for their squats and still get a good stimulus, right? So there are
And
always
that's in accordance with their goal, their
there are
primary focus.
always contexts in which these hard and fast rules that we talk about can be broken. That's the first thing.
Well, and I think that's part of the value of having like a coach or
Yes.
some sort of consultant
Yes.
is that I would have never known that, bodybuilders or people who are
Yeah.
going after like crazy hypertrophy that would be smart to do.
Yeah, well, that's the thing. It's like I as a coach am in the unique position of being able to think about all these different scenarios because I'm presented all these different problems.
Yeah.
With every single person that sits down in front of me for coaching has a different goal. People think that
Yes.
it's just weight loss and strength gain, but
No.
back pain relief, general posture improvement, just having more energy, like every random things people come to me with. And then I am able to, through the lens of my education, pick out a plan that I think would work best for them.
Yeah.
Right. And
Yeah.
then adjust that to their individual needs. But
Right.
that's the thing. Someone who comes to Reddit and says, should I do cardio before lifting is
How could you know? What does he want to achieve?
they are looking for a one-to-one answer forever. They want to know for the rest of my time in the gym, should I do cardio first or weightlifting first?
And it's just really not that simple.
It's not that simple.
Almost nothing in life is that simple.
It's goal specific and it can change. So for me, and another example from my own life, when I first started back in the gym after COVID, I was 70 pounds overweight. Now I love lifting weights and I wanted to compete in powerlifting, but I physically could not do that until I lost a little bit of weight.
Yeah.
So guess what I did?
So your first few weeks were more cardio heavy.
More cardio based and getting my diet sorted.
And then you got a little bit more in shape. You had more endurance.
Yes.
You maybe lost 15, 20 pounds.
Yep.
And then did
was
you
able
switch?
to transition to still doing cardio first, but now adding weights after. And then after a couple more months of that, just weights. And it's changed back and forth.
Yeah.
Right?
Yeah.
Like right now I'm in the off season. I do not have a powerlifting competition on the books just yet. I want to compete later on this year. But I've got a lot of time here. So I've decided to train for a 5K with you.
Yeah.
So some people say, oh, you can't run at all. That's going to blunt some adaptation, or that's going to take some energy away from your resistance training. The science is still up in the air. For my personal goals, I am okay with losing a little bit of resistance training adaptation to be able to increase my cardiovascular fitness and run with my wife, which would be a fun thing to do.
It would be a fun thing to do.
Right? So the main takeaway is always, always, always start with what you want to achieve. Do not go process first. Do not go, okay, I'm just going to work out. Because one, you're going to reach a point where your motivation is going to dip and you're not going to have the goal to keep you going. And two, you could be going the complete opposite direction. If you don't have a map, you could go east when you're supposed to be going west, right?
That's right.
So if the goal is, I want to increase my cardiovascular fitness and I want to increase my calorie expenditure to lose a little weight, do your cardio first.
Yeah.
If the goal is, I want to gain weight because I want to be more muscular and I want to be stronger, then it might be more important to do your cardio second or on a separate day, or not do your cardio at all.
And you do cardio on a separate day largely, right?
Yeah. Yeah. So I do.
On your 2 off days is when you run and do your 5K stuff.
And right now I also do 10 minutes of incline walking after every workout. But that is so low impact. Like that is not going to eat into my recovery efforts. Right? Again, another thing that you can discuss with a coach. Shameless plug. I am available. I'm just saying. But this is like, it makes a lot of sense. I find when I go past 20 minutes on the elliptical, I'm exhausted when I'm doing my workout.
That's a long time on the elliptical.
I once worked with a guy who would do 20 minutes on the stair stepper before getting to the weight training and was wondering why. He was like, I've been doing weights for a year and I'm not making any progress at all. I was like, hey, all right, I'm sorry that's happening to you. Let's go ahead and take the stairs out for a little bit. 3 months, boom.
Really?
Incredible progress because he was coming to the hard sets with more energy, able to do more towards adaptation, right? The body needs a difficult stimulus.
Yeah.
So if you don't have energy to increase difficulty, it's not going to work.
I think people think so much about how important cardio is.
Right.
And not to say that it's not important.
Yes.
But I think people probably feel like if they're not doing some cardio every time they're in the gym, they're probably not doing a very good workout.
That is a great point.
And that's not necessarily true.
But a very, very good point, because I think, again, with the rise of like corporate gyms and bodybuilding and powerlifting in the past 5 years, they've started to come more to the forefront of like the general population's idea of fitness. But before that, I think it was like Pilates, aerobics,
Jazzercise,
get on the stair, on the treadmill and run, right? Running was always in the forefront. So this idea of I'm going to the gym was always cardio based. Here's a hard,
like you walk into like Planet Fitness and it's a line of like 30 treadmills.
Yeah.
Like that's what you see
like
when you walk inside.
My favorite meme, I saw this on Instagram a couple days ago, but there was a guy that was like, gym owners buying treadmills, and it was like, give me 500. And then gym owners buying squat racks, it was like, best I can do is 2. Right? Because that's every corporate commercial gym. There's a billion, because they go to the lowest common denominator.
That's what people think of when they think of a gym. They think of a treadmill.
What people want.
So if you went into a gym and you're like, there's only 2 treadmills, I'm not going to buy a membership here.
Right. And that's why I'm over at Muscle City, because I walked in and there was 1 treadmill and there was 5 squat racks. I was like, this is the place for me. This is the place for me. But I want you to always keep in mind that the goal leads to what the work needs to be, and that can change, right? With fitness specifically, with weight training, resistance training, we change things based on the goal all the time. So people that come to you and say, oh, I just want to work out a little bit. Okay, I will set you up with something like that. But just know that when the goal changes, or when you want to, I want to put more size on my arms rather than my back, the stimulus then has to change on top of that, right?
That's exactly right.
It's a really interesting idea. And I think that as again, we've talked about fitness Instagram for a while earlier, but it does have some positives. And then I think that powerlifting and bodybuilding and general strength training are being presented as more normal to the general population.
Absolutely.
Which is great.
Yeah.
Because as much as I love cardiovascular fitness, when you're doing cardio, the adaptation is going to be cardiovascular fitness. It's not going to be weight loss. 9 times out of 10, you're doing cardio for an hour. That's 200 calories burned. That's 1/2 of a donut. And then you've wiped that out, right? So the cardio, like when you get on a treadmill, you should think the adaptation that I'm going to get from this is better cardiovascular fitness. It's not that this is going to cause me to lose weight. That is done with your diet. But now that the resistance training is starting to come into the forefront, I think people are starting to realize adding a little bit of muscle can help with weight loss way more than 2 to 3 times on a treadmill for 30 minutes can. Muscle burns more energy. It increases your resting metabolic rate, right?
Yep.
So that's a great thing about Instagram, right? Yeah. We don't want to leave Instagram in the dust.
Like
here.
On Instagram, there's some really great like female fitness influencers coming up. And I think that in general, women are so scared of putting on muscle, but there are some really great accounts of girls about my age who lift heavy weights and they don't look bulky. They look really nice. And it's something that is like achievable, but like inspiring. And it's, I guess just so women can see that you can lift weights. And if you want to be a bodybuilder and look bulky, like great, you can do that. But that's not what you're probably going to look like if you lift weights.
100%. That's a fantastic point. And that I think is going to be a topic for next week where we talk about it because we don't have much time left, but I really want to get into that in terms of the female side of things. I'm interested in your perspective of that as well.
Yeah.
So do your cardio whenever you want to, as long as it fits your goal. That's the main takeaway for that.
And also lift some weights.
Also, please lift some weights.